Your person is someone who has always lived behind a veil of complexity, a person who learned early on that control and manipulation could offer the illusion of safety in relationships. They're used to being several steps ahead in emotional exchanges, turning affection into strategy, kindness into currency. But then, they met you. And with you, everything changed. They were disarmed, not by confrontation, but by something far more powerful. You were unlike anyone they had ever encountered. You didn't play the game, not because you didn't know how, but because you simply refused to. You met them with authenticity, not calculation. With warmth, not caution. You became the one variable they could not predict, the one soul they could not decode. You see, your kindness wasn't the kind they were familiar with. To them, kindness usually came with conditions or hidden intentions. And so, they misunderstood it. They assumed that your warmth was platonic, that you, like many others, might eventually disappear when you weren't given what you wanted. But you weren't looking for control. You weren't asking for validation. You were just being you, open, sincere, present. Still, in their confusion, they built emotional walls. They couldn't allow themselves to become vulnerable, even though, somewhere deep within their heart, they had already fallen for you. Hard. And they didn't know what to do with that feeling. They hadn't expected love to come cloaked in something so gentle, so steady, so true. But you didn't waver. You showed up as yourself, day after day. No pretenses. No mind games. Just an unwavering consistency that made them question everything they thought they knew about love. They started to see you differently, not just as someone interesting or attractive, but as someone remarkable. You had a presence about you, a quiet strength, a beauty that wasn't just skin deep. You became a symbol of something higher, something more real than they ever thought they could deserve. They began to realize that you weren't just another person passing through their life. You were a revelation. Your honesty, your loyalty, it struck them like lightning. It was as if they'd been wandering through a fog their whole life, surrounded by illusions, only to finally see something clearly. You. Your sincerity cut through years of emotional armor. You didn't try to control them, yet you held power over their heart without even trying. That terrified them and moved them. You awakened something in them. Something they didn't even know was asleep. They never thought love could be like this, unconditional, patient, real. They had known love as a battlefield, as something that needed to be earned, managed, manipulated. But with you, it wasn't a game. It was an invitation. A mirror. A doorway into something sacred. And because of you, they began to change. They started thinking differently. Feeling differently. They grew mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You triggered a shift, a transformation that reached deep into the foundation of who they thought they were. For the first time, they saw the possibility of being better. Not just for someone else, but for themselves. And now, they want to express that to you, not in words designed to impress, but in a voice that trembles with truth. They want you to know how much you mean to them. They are coming back, not with the same tricks, not with manipulation or power games, but with vulnerability, honesty, and intention. They want to show you they've changed. That they are no longer the person you once knew. That their heart, once guarded and dormant, is now fully open. The heart chakra within them, the energetic center of love and compassion, has awakened. And it's all because of you. This awakening isn't subtle. It's intense, overwhelming, and raw. It has brought forth a tide of emotion they didn't think they were capable of feeling. Passion, yearning, devotion. They can no longer suppress it. They no longer want to. They feel called to express it, to speak it, show it, live it. Their transformation is not just a moment of clarity, it's a metamorphosis. They've shifted from someone who once clung to control to someone who now understands the power of surrender. They now see the value of truth over illusion, of love over fear. And they are grateful, profoundly grateful, for your presence in their life. You were the catalyst. You were the light. They are ready now. Ready to build a future with you. A future not built on conditions or expectations, but on mutual respect, deep love, and soul-level connection. They want to love you with the fullness of their heart. They want to give you the kind of love you deserve, the kind of love they never believed themselves capable of giving until you came into their life. And there's something else they want to say, something that has weighed heavily on their heart. It's about unconditional love. They used to think it was a fantasy, a poetic phrase, perhaps, but ultimately impractical. But then, you told them you loved them. And in that moment, everything changed. Your confession hit them in a place they didn't know existed. But instead of embracing it, they panicked. They walked away. And in doing so, they wounded you. They can only imagine how deeply that must have hurt. To open your heart, to be that vulnerable, and to be met with silence, or worse, rejection. They now understand the pain of being shut out by someone you love. The silence that followed wasn't just empty space. It was loud, crushing. It mirrored everything they'd made you feel. And in that echo, they finally understood the weight of their own actions. But hear this, whatever they did, whatever they said or failed to say, it was never your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You weren't lacking. You weren't too much. You weren't not enough. The truth is, they weren't ready. They were the one who wasn't prepared to receive the kind of love you offered. They were the one who couldn't yet believe they were worthy of it. They see now how blind they were, blinded by ego, selfishness, pride. They couldn't see the depth of your love, the loyalty in your actions, or the truth in your intentions. It wasn't that you were unworthy of their love. It was that they were unworthy of yours. And they are so sorry. They made a terrible mistake. They let their pride shut the door on something beautiful. And now, with clarity, they recognize how rare and precious your love was, ****. Unconditional love isn't a dream. It's real. It's what you offered. And it's what they finally want to offer in return. They hope that by sharing this with you, it brings you some peace. That it helps you understand why they acted the way they did. That it brings you closure, if not connection. They want you to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are worthy of love. Worthy of unconditional, soul-deep, life-changing love. And they are sorry they didn't see it sooner. But their awakening, it's ongoing. You have been the catalyst for a spiritual rebirth in their life. A transformation so complete, they no longer recognize the person they were before. Every thought now circles back to you. Every dream. Every hope for the future. You are not a fleeting fantasy to them. You are the one, the person they now envision growing old with, laughing with, healing with, building with. And though they carry the weight of their mistakes, they are now walking the path of redemption, of transformation. They understand what it means to lose someone sacred, and they won't take it for granted again. They are still your emperor in spirit, strong, grounded, loyal, but now with humility and love at their core. They acknowledge their past failures, the blocking, the blaming, the avoidance. These actions haunt them. They live with the guilt, and it cuts deeper than any external punishment ever could. But from that pain has emerged wisdom. The words they never said before, words of gratitude, apology, longing, are rising to the surface. The truth is finally finding its voice. And this truth is forging a new path toward connection, toward reunion, toward a love that honors the journey you've both taken. They are drawn to your light, your independence, your serenity. You are magnetic, not because you try to be, but because of who you are. And that's why they can't let go. Because you've reshaped their worldview. You've changed the way they think, the way they feel, the way they love. Yes, they made mistakes. Grave ones. They betrayed your trust. And now, they're sitting in the aftermath, missing you with an ache that words can barely capture. They are learning, growing, and they are willing to pay the price. They are willing to earn back what they lost. This is their karmic retribution, yes, but also their opportunity to become the person worthy of the love you once gave freely, and still, perhaps, may give again. This journey won't be easy. The path to redemption never is. But they are ready. For you. For love. For everything that this connection demands. Because you are worth every step, every tear, every transformation, every hardship. You are worth it all. And so, in the silence that remains between you, they wonder, are you still there? Do you still feel them? Or are they now a voice echoing alone in the vastness of lost time and missed chances? Because they're still here. Still thinking of you. Still loving you. Still hoping that this isn't the end, but merely the interlude before a new beginning. And if you'll allow it, this story isn't over. No, it's just beginning.